such a glorious night. If not, do understand and get that your day, your night is going to get better once your perception gets better. Wanted to do a video about this because as I was sitting on my bed, one of the things that came to my mind is you deserve better. Yes, you deserve better. Now, when I say you deserve better, I'm talking about every aspect of your life. I'm talking about relationships. I'm talking about probably where you live right now. I'm talking about the amount of money you earn. And you deserve so much more. And oftentimes in life, when we are going through challenges, adversities, obstacles, we tend to think that these things are here to stop us, right? We tend to think that if my life is going this way, then is something wrong. Well, you're right. It is something wrong, and what's wrong is you're not in harmony with the laws of this here universe. Okay, I want you to understand and get that you was created for much more than the way you have been showing up. You are created for abundance, prosperity. And it's not until you start looking at yourself and understanding that I deserve more. As long as you are living from a place of scarcity or living from a place of you don't deserve it, if you are looking at yourself as a failure, there's no way that you will become successful because that's how you see yourself. If you see yourself as a failure, you will continuously be a failure. And a failure is not an actual person. A failure is an event. But oftentimes what people do is they take circumstances that have shown up in their lives and they look at their life and they think that they are failures based upon something that didn't go right in their life. But I am here to tell you, you are not a failure, okay? You are a winner, but you have to start moving as such. When you get those downloads for you to do something and you look at your life and you say, you know what, I am not going to do that thing. Or you look at your life and you say, oh, this don't make sense. I don't. So God could be telling you to go to a certain store. And some of you guys, what you would do is you would say, oh, I'm not going there because you would say you don't have the funds to go there. Last time I checked, you didn't need money to go inside the store. Okay. If God is telling you to go to the store, your intuition, their gut feeling is telling you to go somewhere, is a reason why it's telling you to go there. Prime example. So the other day, matter of fact, yesterday, it was one of those days. Okay, it was one of those days for me. And True King, peace to you, baby. So yesterday was one of those days. It do not take long for me to bounce back. Okay, let me just say that. I listen to so much personal development and I read the books every day. Throughout the day, I am working on myself. Okay, there's not a day that goes by I don't work on myself. There's not a day that goes by that I am not studying. And I don't do this for social media. I do it for me. Okay. To understand that I deserve more, to understand that I deserve better in life, guess what? I show up. So yesterday, when I was in the bed, it was just one of those days. And one of the things that I want you to understand about life, you always have the ability to change your perception. You always have the ability to change your perception. You can either stay where you are or you can look at your life and say, you know what? I have the ability to change my perception. I don't care if you don't have a goddamn a pot to piss in and a window to throw it out. Let me say it again. I don't care if you only have a nickel to your name. I don't care if you don't have anything to your name. Okay? You have to understand that everything is based upon what you tell yourself. And so yesterday, I was in a bed and I just was laying in the bed. My youngest children, they went to school and stuff. And I, at first I was like, I'm not going out. I'm not doing a Dollar Tree haul. I'm just not doing it. But since I created habits for so long and listened to the personal development, I could not stay in a bed. That was something that I used to do. I could not stay in that bed. I could not stay in the bed and allow the day to go past and I didn't show up for myself. And I got a download for me to go to the store, to a specific store. Okay. And this is how many times it tends to happen. Your intuition is speaking to you. It's telling you to go different places. It's telling you to call this person. It's telling you to do this. It's telling you to create the video. Some of you guys, you want to create a video. You want to be a content creator, but you are so afraid of what other people will think of you that you don't show up. That's because you don't know yourself. You don't understand when people say certain things that it has nothing to do with you, but everything to do with them. See, a person that's hurt, they could never give you love when they operate in as the false self, when they operate in as from their ego, from their belief systems that they've been conditioned and programmed to believe about other people. They can't, and programmed to believe about themselves. They cannot give you something that they feel they don't have. Okay. And so when you start understanding this, that people only criticize based upon what they feel within themselves. So I was on the bed and I kept getting a download, for me to go to this store, this Dollar Tree. And so I finally got up, and I was on the bus, didn't really want to do anything. Okay. Didn't want to talk to hardly nobody. Okay. And I certainly didn't. Okay. And so as I was on a bus, and I got off, it was a young lady that I had met a few weeks ago. And it's so funny. I was in a Dollar Tree and I was recording a video and I had seen her cart. Okay. Her name is India. And I seen India cart. I didn't know India from a milk carton. You hear what I'm saying? I didn't know India from a milk carton. But I went up to her and I said, "Oh my goodness, these are so nice." She had like some canisters, for these fizzers, bath bombs to put, the bath bombs inside this container, this glass container that Dollar Tree has. Gold top is really, really cute. And so I said, could I record her card? Okay. And she was really, really cool. She let me record her card. I even explained to you guys what she was planning to do with the, the containers and the fizzers and stuff, the bath bombs and stuff like that. And so that went past, I met her that day. And then yesterday, when I got to Dollar Tree, okay, she was there. She was there. And it's so funny because I was actually doing a video responding to one of the guys on TikTok because he had a question. So I was actually responding to him on TikTok. And then she came out the store and she said something to me. And she said, hey, I meant to ask you the other day because I thought you was probably talking to somebody when I was doing a video. She said, but I didn't know if you was talking to somebody. But then later on when I went home, I said, maybe you was recording. And so me and her got to talking. Very, very sweet. Oh my goodness. The lady, she is really lovely. And me and her was talking and stuff like that. And she said that she wanted, I said, you should do DIYs, And she said, she was a little shy and stuff. I said, yeah, but still do it. Let me tell you something. This is what I come to realize. Okay. Since doing the work, you are going to have to step into radical action. You are going to have to do the thing that you've been told to do. It's either that or you are going to settle with life. So you have one or two options. You either going to do what God has told you to do or you're going to make a settlement. And if you make a settlement, listen to me closely, like my aunt would say when I was a kid. Listen and listen good. If you make a settlement with life, okay, you will not have the things you desire. If you make a settlement with life, You will keep on doing the same exact thing, hoping and lucking and praying for something new to occur because you can't outrun your subconscious. When the programming, when God tell you to do something, that means that you are equipped for it. Oh, you didn't hear what I said. You didn't hear it. You didn't hear it. When God tells you to do something and you feel like, oh my goodness, I'm not ready. I don't have the education. You make all these excuses. I don't have the education. I don't have this. I don't have an apartment that's, aesthetically pleasing. You make all these excuses, okay? And you never show up. Don't you know if you showed up, you would be your apartment will be aesthetically a pleasing? Don't you know if you showed up, you will be living in a condo? Don't you know if you showed up, you'll own your own home? But you're so busy worrying about what man has for you. And that's the problem. You worrying about what man has for you as opposed of what God said is for you. Oh gosh, you ain't hearing what I'm saying. You ain't hearing what I'm saying, honey. You so concerned about what man has for you as opposed of what God said is for you. And that's the problem. That's the problem. Some of you guys, you keep settling in these relationships that's not going anywhere. And how do you show? What you mean? How do you show up? You show up. What you mean? When you invest in yourself, that's a form of showing up. When you read the books, okay, that's a form of showing up. When you listen to your intuition, that's a form of showing up. Anything that is going to help you become a better version of yourself, that's a form of showing up. When you are willing to change your programming, that's a form of showing up. When you're willing to be vulnerable, that's a form of showing up. When you're willing to say, you know what, I don't know what I don't know, that's a form of showing up. When you are willing to walk in faith, that's showing up. Let me say this. If there's anybody out there, you trying to get something without say for instance, if you like, oh my goodness, I want to have all the cars, I want to have all of the money and everything like that, right? Suppose if you did get those things, right? I think the worst feeling is to have the things that you desire to have, but you still feel incomplete. What difference does it make if I believe in Jesus Christ, precious? Do you? Me believing in what I believe in, what difference does that make to you? See, that's the thing. Is a reason why you came on this video. Ooh, jail. So, like I was saying, your life is not going to change until you start changing. Your life is not going to change until you start changing. Okay. It's not until you start looking at your life and start understanding you deserve better. As long now, this is the crazy thing, right? when I'm on when I'm on the social media platforms, okay, I don't go on the social media platforms and asking people about their beliefs, okay? Oftentimes you can just tell what people believe in, all right? But you can always learn something. You can learn something from everyone, okay? You can learn something for everyone. And that's a lot of times is the problem, because if you feel like you can't learn something from somebody because they don't share the same beliefs as you, then a lot of times that's the issue. Because you will cancel yourself from being receptive to information, to certain information. Somebody can tell you something and they may not like, I don't do religion. Let me say that again. So the people who go to church and stuff like that, honey, you can go, okay? Because I know some of you guys, if the person don't go to religion, go to church, you be ready to leave. So you could skedaddle. Because I don't go to church. All right. You're gonna be trapped in your situation, Jared. You know why? Because what you saying. As a man thinketh. Let me say this. Be mindful of the words you use. Very mindful. What you tell yourself, that's what shall be. If you tell yourself you are trapped, you right. You are trapped. You are most certainly right, because that's your truth. But when you look at your life and you start saying there's a better way, and you don't need to know what's the better way right now, it'll come to you, but you have to be receptive. You have to be open to it. If as long as you say you are trapped, as long as you say you can't do this, guess what? You won't be able to do it, because you already canceled yourself out. Don't you understand that the cells in your body are alive? And they listen to everything that you say. And just like you eat and poop and stuff like that, the cells in your body do the same exact thing. And when you tell yourself certain things, you can't do this or you can't do that, it follows up. You ain't gonna be able to do it. The subconscious mind gonna make sure that you don't be able to do it, because that's what you telling yourself you can't do. That's why you have to be mindful of your words. It's not that you can't do it, you can do it. And you're not trapped. You're not trapped. I need you to say to yourself, I'm not trapped. Because nobody can trap you but yourself. I don't care what a parole or probation officer has this. Let me tell you something. Ooh, chill. Faith. You have to have faith. You have to have faith. Whatever you fear, it shall come. You can be as certain to expect it if you fear that. There's people, I don't even know where you from, but I'm quite sure it's somebody that's been in the same exact situation as you, and they life didn't turn out the way you think yours finna turn out. Don't you understand you have the ability to change your life? I don't care what it looks like. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care what a judge say. See, that's the problem. That is the problem. Because you guys, you look at men and think that man is bigger than God. That's the issue. You look at man and think that man is bigger than God. You have to start looking at your life and understand that you are great. And you also have to understand that you're not trapped. Earlier, I was listening to Reverend Ike, right? And one of the things Reverend Ike has said, he said it was a guy who had came to him. And I listen to Reverend Ike a lot. It's so funny because so many people back in the day, they would talk about Reverend Ike and they would say Reverend Ike was, scamming, the poor folks, right? Scamming the color folks, they were saying. But Reverend Ike was teaching the same exact thing that Neville Goddard was teaching. Reverend Ike, it was talking about the same exact thing that Bob Proctor and what's the guy from chicken noodle soup? I can't think of the guy name, but he was teaching the same exact thing. But one of the things Reverend Ike always talked about was that God is in you, that you are God. You and God are one. Okay. And so Reverend Ike, he's giving his sermon, and he said it was a guy who came to him and said, Reverend Ike, why is it I could never get ahead? And Reverend Ike said, you just answered your own question. And he said, this is the guy talking to Reverend Ike. And the guy goes on, he says, I've been trying everything to get ahead. Why can't I just get ahead? And Reverend Ike answers his question. He said, you answered your own question the second time. The reason why you can't get ahead is because you have a failure complex. You look at yourself as a failure. So guess what? You can't outrun those belief systems. You can't outrun the subconscious mind. That's why some people, you see them working out. They want to get in shape. They want to lose the weight or whatever it is like that. They lose the weight and then they gain it right back again. Why? Because they trying to outwork the subconscious mind. They trying to outrun it, and you can't outrun it. As long as you see yourself as a failure, as long as you see yourself as a fat person, as long as you see yourself as a criminal, as long as you see yourself as a good for nothing, as long as you see yourself as broke, as long as you see yourself as not being worthy of love, as long as you see yourself as stupid, as long as you see yourself as all of those things, guess what? You're going to make sure that you fit that role. You're going to make sure you fit that role. Why? Because it's all about your mindset. It's all about what you tell yourself. There's some people that look at life and they say their life is hell. They say their life is horrible. And you're right. You absolutely right. Your life is horrible. Who knows your life better than you? You do. So as long as you say your life is horrible, as long as you say you are good for nothing, you're right. Is is your truth. Your truth, it creates your reality. Your truth creates your reality. Reality is an illusion. When I started changing my subconscious mind, the first steps I started doing was I started listening to personal development. I went right on YouTube, right on here, started listening to personal development. I always had a thing for wanting more. It was always something in me that said, nah, this life, I know I ain't come here to just work and pay bills. There's more to life than this. I started listening to personal development. I guarantee you, Jared, if you listen to personal development, first thing when you get up, or even when you get off the video, when I get off the video, if you start listening to personal development, I guarantee, and I'm not talking about you do it for one day and then don't do it again. I'm talking about you making a commitment to yourself that you're going to do it. And I'm talking about doing it every day, showing up for yourself. If you don't, you're going to get exactly what you predict. And the reason being is because you have a programming going on in your mind right now. And when you start listening to the personal development, it's going to be everything that's going to tell you not to listen to it. So I'm just letting you know ahead of time. It's going to say it don't make sense. No, don't listen to it. You're going to feel uncomfortable at times when you listen to the personal development. But when you eager for change, guess what? You're going to do it. You could listen to Reverend Ike. You could listen to, find somebody, just type in on YouTube, personal development. And whoever you feel a connection with, watch their video. But again, it's not a one-time thing. This will get you out of your situation. But if you stop listening to it, you're going to revert back. You're going to go back to that programming or whatever. So that's why you know why a lot of people would say personal development didn't work? They would say personal development didn't work because they wasn't willing to keep showing up. See, they'll listen to it for a few days and then they'll stop because they feel like, you know what, I know it. And then they'll stop. And they'll revert right back to the old programming, the old habits that they once had. You are creating a habit when you listen to the personal development. You are doing something new. When you, everything that you've been through as a child is all a reflection of as what you become when you become an adult. So everything, and the reason you're going through this is because you are in violation of universal laws. And in order for you to change, you have to do something different. You can't keep doing the same exact thing. And so I challenge you. Listen to personal development every day. Every day. I don't give a damn if it's for 30 minutes a day. I don't care. Your life depends on it. So you'll listen to it for 30 days. Hey, Tracy. Oh, honey, I've been on here for 29 minutes. Read this. The Prosperity Bible. Or read this. Go on thriftbooks.com. If you go on thriftbooks.com, you could get those books cheaper than Amazon. If you go on Thrift Books. But you have a programming. We all have programmings. We all have programs within us. And those programs that you have within you is allowing you to attract the things that you are in harmony with. You can't attract something better than what you believe you deserve. That's why you see a lot of people, they keep going back and forth to jail, right? Is because once they, and your environment, and plays a big part. It plays, and let me tell you something. If you still being around, first of all, when you start listening to the personal development, what it's going to do is it's going to start, you're going to start being distant. You're going to start being distant. You listen to the personal development, and I'm speaking from experience. You listen to it enough, you're going to start being distant. Then you're going to start being distant from the people that you currently hang around. The reason why you hang around the people that you hang around is because y'all have things in common. And that's why when people get locked up once, they keep going back to jail, is because you around other people, there's in jail that that committed crimes or whatever. What do you guys have to talk about all day? You become what you be around. Your environment, it plays a hella part. And when you start listening to the personal development, people gonna clown you. I'm telling you. They're gonna say, what the hell you listening to this for? And you gotta make a choice. You gotta make a choice. You gotta be willing to show up for you. Unless you're gonna keep getting the same exact thing. I remember hearing Nipsey Hussle say this. He said, is either you gonna go against yourself for the world, or you gonna go against the world for yourself. And you gotta make a choice. Because the new person that you becoming, people ain't gonna understand it. And that's why a lot of people, they don't make the change. They wind up going back. Why? Because the pressure from people. But when you love yourself so much, you don't give a damn. If my life is based upon, let me tell you something. When I was living in hell, some of you guys, you think hell is a damn is a destination. You think hell is when you die. I'm here to tell you, honey, you're gonna be in for a rude awakening. Hell is not for when you die, or heaven is not for when you die. They are just frequencies. And as long as you think that, oh well, you're gonna go to hell. No, you being in hell right now. You living for other people. You doing things for other people. You putting them on a pedestal more than yourself. You worrying about what somebody else think of you, how they feel about you. And you don't show up for yourself based upon somebody else's perception of you, not even realizing that they don't see you based upon you. They see you based upon themselves, how they see themselves. You have nothing to do with it. Nothing. But you so selfish and think that everything is about you. That's why when people say stuff, you think that, oh, it's about you. It ain't about you. It's about them. And they just showing you how they feel about themselves. That's what they doing. They showing you exactly how they feel about themselves. And you're not gonna die, Jared. You're not gonna die. But you better listen to that personal development. If you think you gotta pee and you think about peeing long enough, if you keep on thinking, oh my goodness, I gotta pee, I gotta pee, I gotta pee, guess what? Eventually, if you don't make it to the bathroom sooner, you're gonna piss on yourself. Okay, that's the same as that concept. You need to start thinking about how you gonna live. Start thinking about how you want. You know what? Listen to the personal development, and I write down how you want your life to be. I did not say write what you don't want, because I know we have been conditioned to pay attention to what we don't want. No, write down how you want your life to be. The next 5 years, okay? How do you want your life to be? The next 3 months, how do you want your life to be? How do you want your life to be? And you write that down. Whatever it is no price to use your imagination. You can use your imagination. There's no price. And you write down. What's going to happen is, from you paying attention and being focused on how you want your life to be, you will start going into a different vibration. Okay, your emotions, you will start feeling different, because now you focusing on what you want, what you desire from life, as opposed to what you don't want. That's why I say write it down, because when you write it down, you are focused. 30 days. Listen to personal development. 30 days. That's it. Try it for 30 days. If you don't feel better, be receptive. Be receptive to the information. But listen to the personal development. Soon as you wake up, instead of checking your phone or whatever it is that you do, listen to the personal development. It's so funny because earlier I was on the phone with my oldest daughter, and I have guys that I went to high school with, and I see them frequently, and they sometimes they watch some of my YouTube video. I'm not YouTube, Facebook videos. One of the guys, and I see him every now and then. And I remember one day I had seen him, and he was telling me about how he, was in and out of prison and in and out of jail, back and forth. And I never knew that. I never knew that. And I said, what? And I used to date him when I was in high school. He was like a star athlete. He was a really, really good football player. Very good. And I thought he would be drafted, okay? Because he was really, really good. But you can't outrun. You cannot outrun your subconscious. If you think you don't deserve more, it's just not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. And so when I had seen him, me and him was talking, and I said he was telling me about how he was, internet. He just came home, and I said, really? And, I was shocked. Okay. Cause I never knew him for that, being in jail and stuff. And he said, yeah, I've been I've been going, this has been a while, going back and forth. And I said, really? And he was like, yeah. And he was saying like the females that he date. And I say, is a programming within you. See, some of you guys, you think that you just attract people. I could assure you, theirs is bigger than you just feeling like, oh, I just attract them because of their physicalities, because I like the way they look. It's bigger than that. You attract people before you meet them. It's a book. It's called Three Magic Words by Ura Anderson. And one of the things Ura Anderson talks about is the subconscious mind. He also talks about prompters. Prompters are belief systems. And one of the things in the book, he says that we tend to send our thoughts into the ether. And the thoughts that you send and the emotions that you feel based upon the thoughts that you keep on thinking, the only language there is the only language there is in the universe is emotions. And so when you send in those emotions and thoughts out into the ether, guess what? You are attracting people that feel the same exact way as you. So if you feel like you are nobody, guess what? Or if you feel like you have a love deficit, you're gonna meet somebody that feels like they have a love deficit too. You can't, if you feel like you can't love yourself, don't get into well, you do what you want to do. Get into a relationship looking for love. Let me tell you something. They just gonna remind you that you don't love yourself. You can't get something from nothing. You can't think that you are going to attract something that you desire, that you say you desire, but you're not willing to become that. You have to be it in order for you to attract it. Suppose if I say, all right, well, I'm gonna have 10 million subs on YouTube and I never show up. How would that look? That look like I'm kidding myself. I'm joking. Because if I really desire that, guess what? I'm gonna take action. Guess what? I'm gonna study. And when I say study, I'm talking about reading the books that talks about law of attractions, the book that talks about energy, vibration, frequency, the books that talks about manifestation, the books that talks about you reap what you sow. I'm going to read those books. I'm going to continuously read those books. I'm going to continuously read books that talks about the power of your subconscious mind, your self-image. I'm going to continuously read those books. So you got to start looking at yourself, the person that you desire to be, and you have to become that person. You have to become that person. And at first, you're not going to believe it, right? Like when I said, I'm going to become a content creator. I didn't know what was all the steps. When I first saw, I didn't even know how to edit. I didn't know how to edit, but guess what? That didn't stop me from uploading the first video. I didn't know how to attach another video at the end screen of a video, like to put up another video so the people could watch the next video of mine. I didn't know how to do none of that. But guess what? I had faith. So I kept on showing up. And I knew that I will receive the answers on how to do the thing. See, but it first starts off with faith. You have to have faith. You have to be able to see, I know my life is getting better. You said self manifestation, a new age movement is not a new age movement. It's even in the Bible. If you want better, you'll do better. But first understand that you deserve better. See, you can't do better if you don't think you deserve better. If I know I deserve better, guess what? I'm gonna do better. I'm gonna show up. I'm gonna show up. And that show up means, whether I'm investing into myself, paying for coaching, I'm gonna show up. I'm gonna do whatever I need to do in order for my life to change. And that's how you have to see yourself. And so when you start realizing you deserve more, you're gonna take the steps. And the thing about it is when you first take the first step, the rest of the steps will be guided. You'll be guided. Because I remember when I was making an investment, right, for Bob Proctor's mentoring. And I remember one of the things that one of Bob Proctor's consultants said, and at this time it was 7,500, right? I never did an investment like that, for 7,500, investing in myself like that. And I remember I had told Bob Proctor's consultant, one of Bob Proctor's consultants, I said, I'm scared. And he said, you have every right to be, because it was something I never done before. See, when you're doing something that you never done before, I could assure you a few things. One, you're going to get different results. Okay. You're going to get different results. Now, if you working in harmony with the laws of this here universe, the results that you get, there be better results. Remember, there's no good or bad in this here universe. It's just is, because somebody else's good could be somebody else's bad. Somebody else's bad could be somebody else's good. But once you start, I don't lose train of thought, but once you start showing up, okay, and once I made the investment, the 7,500, well, I didn't start off with 7,500. I started off with 2,500 because I said, I don't know if this gonna work. But I felt enough to invest in myself to understand that if I want better, I'm gonna have to do better. And one of the things Bob Proctor's consultant said, he said, by you making this investment in yourself, you showing the universe that you desire more for yourself. See, you can't be looking for people. Sherry, you funny. You can't be looking for people to do something for you that you're not willing to do for yourself. You can't be willing to ask. And that's what I say. Some people, they want God to do all this. They want God to do all this stuff for them, but they not even willing. God is in you. God is not somewhere far out. God is in you, and God are one. Okay? You and God are one. And when you show up, you allow God to work through you. You're not waiting for God to do something. When you show up, when you get there, and when your intuition, some people say the Holy Spirit or whatever, okay? Some people say the Holy Spirit. But when you get their intuition, your intuition is telling you to do certain things, okay? Sherry, normally I don't block people, but all right, I'm going to just put you on timeout for a little while. 10 seconds. Sherry, you're in timeout for 10 seconds, okay? Oh, shoot, maybe I should have left you there, Sherry. Damn, you was doing a lot of commenting. Let me see. Oh, too late now. But God is working through you. If that's like if you saying, God, I want my life to change. right? And you get that download for you to get a book. And this is how a lot of times it works, right? You walking past, you may hear somebody in the supermarket or somebody on a block or whatever, and they say, you know what, I read that book and that's really what did it for me. And they say, I changed my life. That was the book that did it. Well, actually, it wasn't the book that changed their lives. They changed their life. The book was a tool. And it's the same as their concept, okay? When you look at it like that, when you think to yourself, you know what? I got the download to do this, and then you do the thing that you've been told to do, right? That's almost you getting hints, right? You getting hints to do this, right? Somebody may recommend a book, and then you're like, all right, and then you go buy the book. That's acts of faith. That means that you believe that your life is possible for your life to change. Because you wouldn't do it if you didn't think that there was a possibility. Remember, faith without works is dead. And so it's the same as that concept when I had got the download for me to do something different, right? For me to make videos. I didn't get the whole formula. Oh, well, Monday morning, wake up and do it. Don't work like that. You're not going to get all of the information. You'll get one little message, do such and such. And then when you take that action step, right? When I made the first video and then the ideas, right? Well, first, I do video, what I do behind closed doors. What was I doing before I started the video? Oh, I would make smoothies. And then I would make smoothies. And then after the smoothies, I listen to personal development. And so what I would do was listen to the personal development, apply it to my life, and then bring it to social media. In every way along the journey, you will get messages for you to do the next thing. God is always speaking. It's just so many people don't listen. They say God isn't answering their prayers because they think that God is some bellboy. And that is not how this here thing works. And another thing, God is not finna violate the laws of the universe for you. It doesn't work like that. So if you plant in certain seeds and you think that God is gonna save you because you planting those seeds, no. You reap what you sow. But could you read better? Yes, but you have to start putting better things up in your mind. It all starts with the mind. You ever been around somebody that is, just so negative? Just so negative. Every time you bring something up, they always have a negative story to tell you behind it. They just so negative, And when you leave from them, it's almost like you feel depleted. It's almost like you feel drained because the whole time they talking about all the stuff that's going wrong in their life. If you hang around them long enough, that stuff will start going into your subconscious mind, start penetrating into your subconscious mind. Then guess what? You start looking at your life and start picking out all the stuff that's going wrong in your life because what you constantly be around, that's what you become. And that's why I'm very mindful of who I allow into my space. I don't allow any and everything into my space because I love myself enough. I love myself so much that I'm not going to allow any and everyone into my space. And imagine if somebody is constantly saying, oh, it ain't going to work for you. You'll never do that. If you be around that long enough, you won't do it. You won't do it. because that's what you constantly being around. If you love yourself so much and respect yourself so much, you wouldn't even be around that. I don't care who the person is. I don't care. I don't care who they are. Don't care. I don't care if it's family members. I don't care. And so you have to ask yourself, why do I allow certain people into my environment, into my space? Why? You know why? Because your self image, the way you see yourself. You allow people to keep doing the same exact thing to you because of the way you see yourself. It's like you accepting crumbs when you deserve so much more. You accepting hand me downs when you deserve so much more. You accepting the basics when you deserve so much more. And it's crazy. It's crazy. You, in the words of Eric Thomas, you accepting low hanging fruit when you deserve so much more. You deserve so much more. You deserve better than that. But you ain't gonna get better. If you don't see you deserve better, you ain't gonna get, you're gonna still be at that same job. Next year, I can guarantee you. I don't even know you, but I can guarantee you that. Next year, same exact place, same exact situation. Complaining, bitching, whining, same, but you're gonna be in the same exact predicament. Why? Because you're not willing to take the leap out on faith. Like I said, you worrying about what man has for you when God has something so much better. You worrying about a paycheck. What man, and actually the paycheck just go through a company, but you actually paying yourself. And the way you paying yourself is because that's the amount of money you think you deserve. You believe you deserve the amount of money that they paying. When I started seeing the amount of money I was earning on YouTube, my first paycheck was $5. Okay, well, it wasn't even a payout. It was $5. And I said, wait, hold the hell up. $5? Guess what? I started investing. I started investing, but not only did I start investing money, I started investing time. I started going on, is a guy named Sean. I can't think of Sean's last name, but Think Media. And he talks about analytics. And I started watching videos on analytics. Why? Because I know I deserve way more than that. Okay? And then my income started going up. But remember, you can't outrun the beliefs that you have. And so I have to keep on studying. In order for it to come up, go up even more, because it's the awareness that is going to allow it to come up, that allows it to go up. See, certain things in your life, when you start doing something different, it's going to be things that's going to try to knock you off your square. And if you allow those things to try to knock you off your square, guess what? You're going to revert. You're going to go back. You're going to keep on going back. But when you start looking at yourself and saying, no, I deserve better than this, now you aware. So every time when you try to go to the gym and you like, oh, in the beginning, right? Everything is working out perfectly. That's not a coincidence. That's just how life is. It's going to let everything work out perfectly. But once you start getting in the rhythm of things, right? And everything's just going really, really good, then something will happen. That old version of you, it don't want you to change. And so you have the opportunity to say, I know exactly what's going on. But people are operating in ignorance. They don't notice. And so that's why they keep on doing the same exact thing. It depends, Jerry. Because tonight my intuition told me to come live. So that's why I'm on here. But it depends. But if you subscribe, you will get the notification when I go live. And I believe in you. You know, I believe that you're going to listen to the personal development. If you want your life to be better, I'm telling you, you'll listen to it. But if you subscribe, you'll know. So when you start looking at your life and start understanding, you deserve better, you deserve more, you're going to do better. And when the only way to get understanding, in the words of my mentor, Bob Proctor, is through study. You won't be able to get understanding if you don't study. You have to study. And when I say study, I show you guys the books I read and I listen to the personal development. That's studying. Okay, I've been on here for an hour. With that being said, I love you guys. Keep rocking out, believing in yourselves. Keep going, keep growing. Until next time, peace.